Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming through. We really appreciate it. Today, 8th grade, instead of doing their report, right, for Black History Month, what we decided to do was write, or actually not write, but reenact and readapt a play. The play is a one-act play. It is called Sitting Down for Dr. King. This is a historical reenactment of the Greensboro Four. This is a historical event that actually happened in the 60s that started the Civil Rights Movement. This was a time of segregation. We made minor changes. The players are going to explain to you what those changes are at the end of the play. I'm going to ask everyone to be as patient as possible, to listen very carefully. They're really, really nervous, but they're really, really excited to present the play to you, okay? So let's give them a round of applause. This is
My name is Daisy Nicholson. I grew up in a small town in North Carolina.
And I'm Mary Jane. I grew up in the same small town in North Carolina.
When I was a kid, my mother would sometimes take us to Woolworths for a special treat. We sit on seats at the lunch counter. Woolworths is one of the many large 5 and dime department store chains with lunch counters. You could sit there and have something to eat.
My mother took my sister and me to Woolworths to go shopping, but we were not set the counter. No one in my family could set the counter back in 1960.
That time in American history is what this play is all about.
You see, even though Daisy and I grew up in the same small town,
we didn't know each other back in 1960.
the South was segregated.
And that meant in the eyes of the law in the South that Afro-Americans and purple people were not equal.
Every day, as an Afro-American, I couldn't go to the same school as purple children. There were so many rules back then. I couldn't use the same washrooms or restrooms as purple children either.
There were signs all over the town telling people where they could and couldn't go. So you see signs that were purples only.
That was just the way life was. We wasn't happy about it, and we knew it wasn't fair. But we also knew that every day, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was fighting for change and equal rights for Afro-Americans. And when I say fight for change, I don't mean violent fighting. Dr. King led peaceful marches. He believes we can peacefully change the segregated.
I didn't really take notice of the segregated town we lived in, and I definitely didn't know who Dr. King was. I never knew what Dr. King stood for until my mother took us to Woolworths in February 1960, and that's when my life changed.
Everyone's life started to change.
I was 12 back in 1960. I wasn't called Daisy back then, I was called Diddy.
If it isn't the Nicholson family, how are you all today?
We're just fine.
Were you just in here last week?
Yes, ma'am. I've been getting good marks in school, so we're here celebrating again.
Well, what treat would it be? Rhubarb pie or banana split?
No, I have the usual.
The usual is coming right up. There are lots of things on the menu, but you want to go to Woolworth's famous strawberry shortcake.
Nobody loves strawberry shortcake more than my sister Emily.
Here you go. This is so good. Wow, look at that girl eat.
Slow down, Em. You're making a mess.
Never you mind the mess, honey. You just go right on enjoying yourself.
Oh, she'll be ready for a second helper before we even halfway done.
I can't help it. This is the best strawberry shortcake in the whole wide world.
Excuse me, ma'am. We each like a cup of coffee.
And how about some more there?
That's right, we like some of that famous strawberry shortcake too. Now guys, you know we don't serve awkward people here.
Pardon me for asking, ma'am, but why is that?
Because that's the law.
Why do people like us sit down at your lunch counter?
That's for more important people than me to tell you. Look, I don't make the rules, but I have to obey them, and so do you. So go on now, go get your coffee and dessert somewhere else.
With respect, ma'am, you know it'd be the same for us anywhere else.
Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. There are places where awkward people can eat and drink with other awkward people.
I don't think that's right. I think we should be able to eat wherever we like.
As long as we have money to pay for it, we should be able to eat and drink in the same. Awkward people should be able to eat and drink in the same places as perfect people.
So we don't plan to leave it until we get served.
Period.
Suit yourself, guys, but you won't be getting any shortcake today, not at my lunch time.
We will just sit here and wait until you change your mind.
Don't make me call the manager because that's when I'm going to have to do it. Sometimes Mr. Wilkinson isn't as nice as I am.
You can call your manager now if you like.
Have it your way, but I'm warning you. He's not going to like this at all. You can't just sit here and take a seat of paying customers.
We'd be happy to be paying customers. I'm really good, ma'am. We're not going to be good.
Okay, then. Can you please ask Mr. Wilkinson to come to the lunch counter? We're having a problem here. Why can't they have any shortcake, Mama?
Be quiet, Annie.
But the strawberry shortcake is so good. Shouldn't everyone have some? Especially on our way to get
But I'm not finished eating my strawberry shortcake yet.
Where are we going to sit?
Emily's right, all the seats are taken.
It looks like there's another first one though. It looks, you guys postpone our survey.
But you said we can come here today.
You promised Dee Dee, Mom. I know I did, but if there aren't any seats, we can't stay, can we?
Can we wait a little while?
I don't think that's sensible.
I bet if the waitress sees us, she'll find us a seat.
Folks, attention please. I just talked to Mr. Wilkinson, the store manager, and he told me to close now. So that's it, folks. We're closing early today. I guess I answered now. I guess I answered my question. Go on.
No, wait. Excuse me, ma'am. You know us, right?
Of course, I mean, you're the Nicholson family.
See, Mom?
Dee Dee looks like we can get some strawberry shortcake. Oh no, there's no strawberry shortcake today. I'm under strict orders from the manager to close down right now. Child. Mr. Wilkinson never closed early, but he doesn't want any trouble.
Well, we're no trouble. Can't we just have some strawberry shortcake before you close?
Sorry, no, not today.
It's just not fair. No true words were ever spoken. Of course, you were talking about not getting a piece of strawberry shortcake, but the protesters were talking about not getting equal change.
I didn't know what the protesters were doing. At least not yet.
Don't want to end the story. It's a fine ending.
Oh, sorry. Well, I was still angry about not getting strawberry shortcake. I walked home way ahead of my mother and sister. I walked up the porch steps and slammed the screen door.
What's all that door slamming about?
I think we're bad. No pay for us.
We went back to Woolworth, but they wouldn't serve us.
There was a whole group of applicants who didn't get up in the lunchtime until they said.
So then they took up all the seats so the waitress couldn't serve anybody.
And then the waitress called the manager of the store.
Oh, and he told the waitresses close up early.
My.
All this stuff because a group of awkward people want to sit down at a counter and have some strawberry shortcake.
I heard all about it on the radio, but the announcer didn't call it a fuss. Dee Dee, she called it a protest.
Mother, let's not talk about protests with children.
It's on the radio, Doris. Surely you don't want to hide history and to make it from your children.
It was really on the radio?
It's big news, Emily. Not just in our town, but all over the country.
Wow, what's the big deal about that old lunch counter anyway? I don't see why awkward people want to sit there. Can't they go eat at other places?
That's what the waitress told the protesters at the counter.
Yes, it's true that there are other places for them to go, but that's not really the point.
Well, I guess I don't get the point, Grandma.
Then I'll explain it. It's important you understand what's happening and why it's happening.
I understood what Grandma said, but when we went to Woolworth the next afternoon, I was secretly hoping the protest would be over. But there was an even bigger crowd of awkward people than there had been before, and what I said next is not a moment I'm proud of.
But it all worked out in the end?
You'll spoil the story.
Oh, sorry. You're right. We just let the audience find out what happens next.
Yes, and they'll soon see I behave like a spoiled brat. Why won't you all just go home? You know they're not going to serve you.
There's a people like.
I always wanted some strawberry shortcake, but we're not getting that because of you.
Well, you must have an famous strawberry shortcake, don't you? Well, so do we.
See, we're not so different. Our skin color might not be the same, but we want the same thing. Some strawberry shortcake and a place to sit down.
Hey, fellas, listen in. You need to get up now. My kid needs to
I'm sorry, this is taking.
Why you come out talking to me that way? You don't even belong here.
Get your ring. The class is purple's on.
Oh, paying customer, just like anybody else.
Paying customer. What people pay for this guy? Hey, man, sure.
Hey, man, what's your talking?
Leave it be, Max Short.
I guess you didn't hear me the first time, so this one's over. You need to get out of my seat.
Isn't anyone going to help him?
I said get up now.
Listen, miss, I don't want any trouble.
Then get out of my seat.
Hey! Break it up! Get out that seat on me right now.
You under arrest.
Why you arrest him? Y'all should arrest over here. They push him down.
You get up that seat right now. It's time to go.
Don't make him go. Don't make her go, Mrs. Nicholson. I finally have a parent customer. You want the usual, kiddo?
No, ma'am.
Don't you want some of that baby strawberry shortcake you had the other day?
No, ma'am, not yet.
Then why are you sitting at the counter if you don't want to eat?
I guess, well, I didn't like what those two men did to your friends. It wasn't right what they did.
No, it wasn't right.
Well, honey, you came all the way down here. You must want something.
No, not until everyone here gets the usual. I'll wait along with everyone else.
We may have to wait a while.
I don't mind. I know what you said the other day. All you wanted is a place to sit and some strawberry shortcake. And I want to help make that happen. Thank you. So you last.
For our plan, we decided to change the color of African American and white people. If you couldn't tell by now, African Americans were aqua and white people were purple people.
We did this to show how silly segregation was for splitting blacks and whites up, telling us where we could and couldn't go.
The 4 college students who started the Greensboro Lunch Counter sit-in were inspired by civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Dr. King urged African Americans to challenge prejudice and demand equal treatment. Dr. King did not believe in using violence to get results. Dr. King said, love can lead to understanding, but hate can only lead to more hate. African Americans, he said, must do something extremely challenging, fight hate and violence with peace and love.
As the 4 students took their seat at the Woodward Lunch Counter, they had to wonder if these ideas would work. Indeed, they did.
By the end of the week, as the 4 college students were joined by hundreds of other groups of protesters, news of their sit-ins spread. Soon other groups were protesting at lunch counters around the country and other segregated restaurants around the South.
By July, Woodward's Lunch Counter was officially open to African Americans. Other restaurants soon began to follow.
Through their simple act of sitting down, the 4 men took a bold stance for equality, justice, and peace.
And now that's the way for change. Our town was different. My husband Bill and I moved back here after college. We opened a store. White people and African Americans shopped there. Our children went to school with purple children, with white children.
My wife Jenny and I moved back here to raise a family. I taught at the high school. That's how I met Mary. Her son Errol was in my class.
And now Edward is grown and married and having children of his own.
So you can see why that time in 1960 changed my life. And Dr. King's ideas changed the way I thought about things.
And those ideas changed what we live in.
And I believe those ideas made the world a better place.
Great job. Ugly dude, good job.
Alright, give me 5, y'all. Give me 5, y'all. Thank you so much for your engagement and participation. I cannot have asked for a better audience. You guys were so quiet, so respectful. I really appreciate it. They worked so hard. They were so nervous, but honestly, it just came out absolutely awesome. Let's give them another round of applause. Okay. So we got